So, thank you so much for joining us here at Indigo Moon. So, when I was a little girl, I used to be placed in front of the television. And I have to be honest with you, I learned manners more so on television than interaction. Because again, we grew up in my grandparents' house and there wasn't a great deal of investment. You have a first lady who has to care for a church and hurry up and get home and cook something for us. You have a minister who has to bring home, different items, that people give him as a donation, maybe fruit, maybe a vegetable, and he'd bring it to his wife. But he was ministering to the community of people. So these two people weren't home all the time. But we were misplaced in some cases. We were in the home, but we had aunts and uncles running around, and they did not invest in us. So sometimes you have to find that girl power within you. Okay, I loved Wonder Woman and used to play superheroes. And I used to be Wonder Woman, and I'd do all these. I'd take a rope and wrap it around my cousins, an invisible rope or a string that we might find. And you have to tell the truth. You cannot lie. I'm Wonder Woman, getting the truth out of you with this rope. Sometimes you be Charlie's Angels. I was Kelly. I made sure that I conquered the thieves who stole. And when you look at these superheroes, you incorporate them within because their strengths became your strength. So as you grow older and you see the different examples of what you think are truth, what you think are honesty, sincerity, you carry those things within you and you become a part of that when you enter the world. You try and you strive to be at your very best. And people say, what can the child learn from this or from that? Even when you look at the, I forgot the name of them, and I used to love, with is it Ben Vereen? It's the guy who has, listen, they're superheroes because they have special gifts. And they live in a house and they have one person who is the head of them in a wheelchair. I forgot the name of it. And I know it's going to come to me as soon as this is over, or I'll put it in the comments out underneath, okay? Either way, we look at our superheroes, but you are a superhero in your own right. When you're making the right choices and when you're helping humanity, we all have certain gifts. I've said this time and time again. One of your gifts are to uphold the truth and try and strive at being better. I've had people gang stalk me. I've had people try to play in my energy. People come and do all sorts of things. Another person on the opposite side of the wall doing spell work, chanting, putting my picture on altars. But at the same time, God sees it all. And God is my hero because he's making sure that regardless of what goes on, he's keeping me safe. He's keeping you safe. We all look at some of these stories, some of these movies, and we say, oh, that's fake. But is it really? You see, in some of these movies, they're showing you how we fear people with great strength. We fear people who we don't know what they're going to say or do next. So we decide that we want to work against them so that they'll be quiet. Do freezer magic, putting their name in the freezer. All sorts of things people do. I only would have even known this because when my stepmother bought me this book, my sister kept making these comments about the book, trying to make sure that afterwards they felt like they made a mistake by buying me the book of Psalms. It was a book, but it had spells in it. It's important that you realize that you don't have to do all that stuff to anyone else. If a person is wrong, God's going to balance it out. So you don't have to go ahead and fight the person and come and try to do spell work so that you're in their dream threatening them. All sorts of things we could talk about on this platform. If I got that deep, then people would not even come to this channel because they'd be like, oh, she's really crazy. But you know what? Right now, there's court cases going on where they can't figure out why or how certain things happen to certain people. So they'll go to a person who places cards in front of them, a seer, and they'll say, what happened to this person? There's a lot of cases that are coming out right now where people were too afraid to come to the surface and tell about what happened to them. These cases are coming before you. Some of the people are telling lies on those same people because they know that they're about to get into trouble. But was it worth it? Is it worth it? Will it be worth it? It's never worth it when you go ahead and create a situation where a person has to live in fear, where you have to make up a story as to why a person's not there and act like you've been around this person all these years when the person's never seen you. Now you've been stalking them so they know you're around. We have to look beyond what these frivolous things that people do. Look beyond it and make better choices, conscious choices that are going to help and not hinder these people. When you say you love yourself, extend that love to other people by making better choices and not hurting or harming other people. Be it your sister, brother, cousin, neighbor, associate. It takes more energy to hurt and harm another person than it takes to love them. And if you don't respect them, just keep your distance. You can still pray for them at afar. But make sure that you hold the love within you for yourself so that you'll make more conscious and loving choices. Thank you so much for joining us, Indigo Moon.